Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Living on Blockchain. Today, we are speaking to Evelina Lavrova. She is a marketing and PR ninja. She is currently working for Waves World as the CMO there, and she helps out. She's just helped them design their mining pool and a crypto marketplace, which is very, very exciting. They are also helping out upcoming artists in issuing their own NFTs. Previously, she's worked as a U.S. ambassador for Impulse for Women. She's been a part of a lot of such causes which support female founders. She's also the founder and CEO of Decrypto PR. So this was a very, very exciting conversation. And it was very invaluable because of the insights that she had regarding marketing and PR as well. So I think this one would be a good one for startups and entrepreneurs in this space. Let's deep dive right in.
My name is Evelina Lavrova. I am a CMO of Waves World. I work with blockchain DeFi startups and help them with marketing, public relations. So actually, I help to grow the business. And before that company, I used to work with many startups. So the biggest one is Get. It's a mobile application for the taxi, and PayMe. It's a mobile acquiring for small medium business. And the last one was Waves platform. It's a blockchain ecosystem. What's working on decentralized applications, decentralized exchange, wallet, and custom blockchain solutions for government enterprise. So this is my story.
Wow, that's quite like you have very extensive experience. So could you, perhaps how did you get into this space? Could you give me a little bit of background there?
Yeah, it's an interesting story, by the way. So I used to work at the moment in a fintech startup, PayMe. So they kind of copied and adapted business model of Square on the Russian assist market. And I first heard about blockchain from the founder of this company, and I asked him to explain me about it, so how it works, etc. And then I realized, I'm really interested. And in a few months later, I saw the post of the Sasha Ivanov. He is actually founder of Waves, about what he was looking for a communication person, for his team. And I texted him, and I think we met just a couple of times, and I joined the team. And then, so actually I was enough lucky to join this industry before it became hype and mainstream in 2017. So I joined it a few months earlier. It was kind of quite, I would say it's kind of maybe not so small, but anyway, it was much smaller community of developers, or mostly, I guess, developers and maybe traders. And I started to discover it, and I found, wow, it's really interesting. It's kind of next big thing. So
right. Wow. Okay. So apart from Waves, you're also the founder of Decrypto PR, right? So could you tell me a little about what kind of services do you offer?
Well, I decided to, so actually, before I launched my own company, I always used to work in house of startups, and I realized, okay, I'm kind of interested to try and work another side of, so launched my agency and consult blockchain DeFi startups. So I focused on marketing, public relations, and events. So I provide kind of services for companies, depends on needs. That's it. Yeah, so it's an interesting experience. And I used to work with CoinDesk, and I helped them with Consensus Conference in 2019. And actually, I helped to organize investment meeting in Davos during the World Economic Forum, also 2019. So it's kind of pretty interesting experience. But I realized maybe for me, it's more productive when you kind of focus on one company, on one product, and you can do around it many different things. So it's kind of, focus is the best option. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So could you tell me perhaps, according to you, because you're in this space, what is perhaps the new cool way for startups to, kind of grab the eyeball? Because there are so many, blooming startups in this space. How does one really catch, the user's eye or any kind of stakeholder's eye?
Yeah, so actually it was a big problem, I would say, in 2017 when everybody came and this industry just was a golden rush. And it was a lot of startups, just, I would say 95% of them was scam. I mean,
Right.
they just interested to raise money, but sometimes after they raised money, and actually a lot of money, you can read what founder disappeared with money and founder bought expensive house or car, and but no product. Yeah?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm kind of realized you need to choose very carefully, and companies that really focus it on build good product, they will
Right.
never do such things. And
Right.
you need to kind of estimate the market. Is it real enough big niche for such product, etc.
Right.
So typically, I see the serious problem even now. A lot of companies, what they try to build something, change it, but when you started to discover more deeply, you understand, it's kind of not enough big niche, so they can't to survive. Even they raise it the
Right.
money,
Yeah.
they spend it, and they did pivot many times, and so it's kind of hard, yeah. But companies what they focus it on real serious product and they find the big niche, so they feel very good. So
that is true. That is true. I think, that is something that's become kind of a fad right now, that people have an idea and they are not able to execute it that well. As you said, there is no product, or perhaps they haven't really explored what kind of need does the real user have, and if they are really solving a problem. So I think obviously, if a startup is kind of solving a real problem and helping out users in some way, then I think that startup has a long way to go. So I think we are completely on the same page there, and it's just very good advice for these startups that are coming into this space. Talking of startups and projects, is there any particular project that you have your eye on these days that you're rooting for?
no, I'm kind of support now Waves World. It's actually it's built on Waves ecosystem.
Right.
They working on crypto marketplace. So actually, you can buy any stuff with cryptocurrency logos or memos and pay back by crypto. And actually, they also help digital artists. So
Right.
we can help them to issue NFT tokens and
Wow.
sell digital
Wow.
artworks
Okay. Yeah.
on a marketplace. So maybe most famous OpenSea, and another one is Makerspace.
Right.
So yeah.
Okay, wow. Okay. So could you tell me a little about this actually? NFTs and selling kind of digital art has become really hot these days. So could you tell me how could perhaps a budding artist utilize these services from Waves?
Yeah, so we can help them to issue tokens, because they can create artwork, but then they need to tokenize it, and we help them to issue NFT tokens, and then you can publish your artworks in a art marketplace,
Right.
and sell it. So people can participate in these sales, and let's say you have it you buy, I don't know, some tokens of digital art. Yeah, so you became an owner.
Right.
Unfortunately, for now, it's hard to tokenize real, let's say, historical masterpieces. Yeah, I don't
Right.
know, Mona Lisa.
Yeah, wouldn't that be lovely?
Yes, so I guess a lot of people would buy it, but
Yeah.
but for digital art, it works very well. I mean, because it's kind of new wave,
Right.
So yeah.
Nice. So, so this is actually really nice that you're helping out artists who might not have the absolute correct technical background to issue their own NFTs. So, so is this platform open? Like anybody can go on Waves right now and perhaps issue NFTs against their digital art?
No, we work now manually with them. So we find the digital artists and started to work with them and explain how it works, etc. So some of them do it themselves, some of them join us, and it depends.
Okay. All right. Okay. So this is really wonderful. So, apart from NFTs, DeFi has been making a lot of noise, and
Yeah.
people are talking a lot about DeFi nowadays. What is your take on DeFi?
Actually, yeah, it's like a second wave.
Right.
It's interesting what's happening now, and especially in current situation when it's Bitcoin growth like a crazy, so it attracts even more attention to it. I would say it's an interesting story, and I would maybe, in one hand, I'm very excited about it. In another hand, maybe I share opinion of one of the first investor in Bitcoin. His name is Jeffrey Wernick. He's also invested in Airbnb, in Uber, and he told what how DeFi can be separately if it's under the government rules. So how it be really decentralized, and it's kind of interesting opinion, and I guess the government really want to control it, but at the same time we can't stop this process. And not so long time ago, I joined one workshop about DeFi, and actually I was surprisingly found what actually few middle-aged women also joined it, and it was interesting how different generation can try to learn this new tools, and they was really surprised at how it's easy, and
yeah.
So we'll see what happened, and I think it's really good opportunity for many people.
Yeah, it's a space to watch out for, definitely. Even if
So pay attention to it. Obviously, to make sense. Yeah.
Even though people are a little skeptical about it, but I think as you mentioned, that it's a space to watch out for, and definitely a lot of opportunities are brewing in this space. Now that kind of brings me to the next question about opportunities. I can see that in the past that you worked with organizations that have fostered women leadership and women entrepreneurship. So the gender ratio is really skewed, I think, in almost every sector, but it's more pronounced perhaps in the blockchain space. What is your take on that?
Well, actually, I can share my experience when I joined the Waves. I was 10 employee, and I was a lone girl between developers.
Right. Yeah.
So all of them were men, and it was quite interesting. And by the way, for myself, I found it's very unique experience. And developers are the best colleagues, actually.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, they're really smart. So, and you can, between them, you can grow quickly and you understand technical stuff. And not all of them, but if you have even just one or two colleagues what can explain technical stuff, but very easily, so like for business people, so it's like brilliant.
Yeah.
So care about them. So it's people actually who can help me in my job. That we just started to explain about blockchain, how it works, and a lot of technical stuff. And when I need to connect and share information with journalists, and journalists typically they kind of absolutely different background, and such people can explain it easily, and everybody can understand. Let's say if you watch any lectures or any public speaking of Vitalik Buterin. Yes, how easy he explained very technical stuff.
Right. That's true. That's absolutely true. I think that is very, very important for proper information. See, I think, for people to be able to get interested, they need to understand it first, right? And only when they are interested and they understand it can they really jump on the bandwagon. Otherwise, it is just something very esoteric and something that people think is probably for the experts. So, you have a very fair point there that it's important that information is kind of put in a way that is accessible to everybody, making the entire idea about blockchain, crypto, decentralization is inclusiveness of the system, right? And information plays a huge role there.
Yeah, so I'm kind of agree with you, but at the same time, I'm sure in a few years you will use blockchain, but even you don't know what you use it. Let's say it's the kind of next step, and maybe even you don't need to understand deeply how it works. You just use it, and it's kind of another side. How companies solve the problem. So
that's true. That is very true. That's a little like, how the internet works right now, or perhaps electricity works. People don't necessarily need to understand the nitty-gritties, but they are on it. So I think that's a very, very, a good point. That kind of brings me to the other bit of it, that information dissemination is important, but also is the user interface aspect. That kind of makes design very, very important. I think, especially for a technology which is in its infancy, design plays a very pivotal role. What do you think?
Yeah, so actually it transforms together with technologies, and so it should be easy, and a next generation Z. So it's just use it one button to press it, take a picture, or order a taxi, order delivery, etc. So it's became maximum simplified. Yeah, so I'm kind of agree, yes, it should be very user oriented.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So, now kind of moving on to policy in general. So, you are originally from Russia. What is the Russian government's take on crypto and blockchain? Like, is there a good framework in place?
So actually, so Russia became like technical, one of the technical capital, and even after I moved in the US, I see a lot of companies prefer to hire developers in Russia or have like back office in Russia or Ukraine or Belarus. So and if you remember 2017, when it was hype around ICO and Russia was in the first place, actually, I guess it's because a lot of developers, and it was like Wild West, actually. It actually is, but became Wild West. Yeah.
That's true.
Not so long time ago, Russian government and president decided a law about cryptocurrency, and you can't buy and pay for any good or services by cryptocurrency.
Okay.
But I mean, and a lot of companies, they prefer, let's say, if you build the product typically oriented on global market, they're not focused on especially in Russian market or US market, and they prefer incorporated like most friendliest jurisdictions like Estonia or Switzerland, and so it's kind of opened the doors to become global company, and but physical office. But now I guess a lot of companies, almost all of them, work remotely. But anyway, before the pandemic, physical office was in Russia.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, Russia's been at the forefront of all this innovation, I think, because of the very strong developer community, as you mentioned. Actually, we also have a few developers, and they're full-time members of our team who are from Russia. So I understand that part. Yeah, I think the community there is absolutely wonderful, and they're very technically sound people. So you can actually rely on them. So yeah, I completely agree there. So Now, like talking about women thought leaders, like quite like yourself, who would be like a few thought leaders you think our listeners should key into and listen to or follow to get more insights about blockchain and crypto?
I would say I typically work with journalists, and I would say it's very interesting person. Obviously, I recommend to follow her. Is Laura Shin.
Right.
She previously used to work so she wrote for Forbes, but then she launched her own podcasts.
Right.
And another person I would name Elizabeth Stark.
Right.
She's the founder of Lightning Network and obviously one of the brightest women in blockchain.
Right.
Yeah, but also I'm kind of you mentioned I'm from Russia, so I would name also Vitalik Buterin, one of the pioneer and like genius of this industry. And
Absolutely.
another one is Sergey Nazarov, the founder of Chainlink. Also is a very talented entrepreneur. And a lot of other people, yeah, but it is just a few of them.
Yeah, I think Sergey, Vitalik, I think all of them are like doing a wonderful job, considering the kind of products that they have created. Chainlink is wonderful, and I'm actually in touch with their team as well. So yeah, I think these are really good names that you have taken forward. So speaking of Ethereum and Vitalik Buterin, because you mentioned him, there is a lot of people are not happy with the kind of rising gas fees on the Ethereum network, right? Yeah. So do you have like any kind of thoughts about this and how this can become scalable? Because initially the argument used to be that okay, Bitcoin is there, but Ethereum is like programmable money, and that is absolutely true. But with these kind of the gas fees kind of hitting the ceiling, what is your take on this?
Well, it's an interesting question. I'm sure it's somehow need maybe Vitalik will make a decision to change somehow because it's high demand now, and especially in current situation. So people more pay attention to cryptocurrency because Bitcoin started to grow. And even I recently saw the tweet of one famous actress. She asked, "Do I need to buy some Bitcoin?" It was interesting, how more and more people, even famous people, pay attention to it. And I don't know why, but majority of people voted in her tweet voted no. So they advised it not buy it, but I personally voted for yes.
Yeah, I think it's important. It's for the now. Like people have like differing opinion about this, but I think what we are essentially doing is paving the way for the future. So I think it's not just kind of a good move to get into this space, but I think it's imperative to get into the space with the kind of the kind of socio-economic scenario in which we are in right now.
Yeah. So, and actually, many times I was asked about mass adoption and what I think about it, and so I guess you also have the same question.
Yeah,
and,
that is what. Yeah,
it's really interesting, but I think it's not will be like will be like one magic day when it became mass adoption. No, it will be niche. And the key question is how big this niche will be. So I guess it will be cash. It's keep like debit or credit cards and some QR code payments or mobile phone payments, and also cryptocurrency payments. But the key thing, how big this niche will be. Maybe it will grow and other payments methods will be decreased, etc. So the key thing, in how many situations we can use it, and
Yeah, it kind of comes down to that, itself, that how is how are crypto payments and how is blockchain solving a problem for the user? How can the
Yeah.
user kind of interact with it directly and integrate it with their daily life, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, that's when the mass adoption will come. I agree. Okay, so that this kind of brings me to my penultimate question. If would you have any book recommendations or any kind of content creator recommendation that people should look into, who people who are just perhaps trying to get into the blockchain and crypto space, or especially women who are trying to get into this space because they feel a little intimidated because of this skewed gender ratio? Is there any recommendation that you have?
No, obviously, maybe it's not surprise. I recommend to read the white paper of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
It's not a book, but just few pages. But anyway, it's like a Bible.
Right. Yeah.
And this, but if you're talking about book, I would say Masterpiece of Bitcoin. Obviously, book what you need to read. And I was excited to read the book Bitcoin Billionaires.
Right.
But
Yeah, that's a good one. It was such a fun read.
Did you read it?
Yeah, it's such a fun read.
Wow, it's interesting. Yeah, so I was actually joined one of meetup, and it was, last year in Gemini office, and the author of this book was presented this in the office, so I grabbed it, and it was interesting because I joined it only in 2016, so it's like previous series what's happening in the blockchain industry, and I found it kind of interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's a wonderful read. And, that's a very good recommendation. I think start with the Bitcoin paper, the white paper, and then move on to the other books. Now there are, I think, a lot of books that are being written in this space. I last read, a book by Camilla Russo, and I think she's done a wonderful job as well. It's called The Infinite Machine, and it's a wonderful read. About just it kind of deals with it primarily deals with Ethereum and its history, and kind of it was fairly interesting. But yeah, Bitcoin Billionaires it's a fun read, and I had so much fun just reading it. So yeah, those are good recommendations. Okay, so that kind of brings me to my last question. This is something that I ask everybody who comes on the podcast. So, Evelina, how would you recommend people who are looking on from the outside and peering into the blockchain space? How can they start living on blockchain? How can they take their first steps?
Just started to discover, just started to research and read articles, and maybe listen podcasts and watch any interviews, videos about it, and obviously try to make any transactions, to try to make any payments, or buy, sell, etc. So do it. I mean, practice. This is
Right.
I think the key thing, and this is how you realize how it works. Obviously, and
like kind of doing it by learning by doing it, and I think that's the best way, right? So this is something that I forgot to ask you. What is perhaps the most interesting thing that you bought via crypto?
Oh, actually, it's an interesting thing. I shared it when I last time joined London Fintech Week. So I bought the airline tickets and paid by Bitcoin.
Okay,
seriously, yeah. So that moment I used to live in Russia, and actually I needed to fly in London. And I found out what one European airlines started to accept Bitcoin. And I realized, okay, I want to try it. And actually, I paid it. I bought my airline tickets to London Fintech Week and paid by Bitcoin. Yeah.
Wow, this is fab. Such a nice story. Good, yeah. This is good. And this is the way that we'll perhaps conclude this episode. I am really grateful that you took out the time to speak to me, Evelina. Any last thoughts?
Oh, thank you so much for the invitation, and I was really enjoying to speak with you, and I just want to invite more women in this space. So just don't afraid and make first steps, and you will be obviously enjoy it.
Yeah, you've got this. I think, women need to be a little more confident in their ability. I think because it's not, it's not that difficult. You don't always necessarily have to be a coder to get into this space. And I think that is like a wrong notion that a lot of people carry, that, you need to develop and you need to code to get into this space, which is absolutely wrong.
Yeah, I agree. So just join it. And actually, my personal story is also excited about the moment we don't have such community like women in tech or women in blockchain in Russia. So, I mean, nobody cares if you want to join it. But
Yeah.
I found that in Europe and US, a lot of such communities and women share opportunities. They really want to help, and it's like different attitude. Um,
Yeah.
they kind of share idea what together they are stronger, they can go further. So let's not compete with each other, let's be together. And I think this is very useful and very important thing what Russian women need to learn from
Yeah.
the West society. Yeah.
I think that goes for everybody everywhere. I think women everywhere, that, we kind of grow together. We are stronger together. We bring a different kind of leadership to the table. And that is something that we need to sort of own.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Great. It's been a lovely conversation, Evelina. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Bye bye.
Bye.